Hello, and welcome to Tech Latest from Nikkei Asia, where we bring you the freshest updates from the technology sector in Asia. I'm your host, Katey Creel, and in this week's episode, I'm talking to our Seoul correspondent, Kim Jaewon, about Samsung and the AI boom. Welcome to the show, Jaewon.
Thank you for having me.
And you're actually not joining us from Seoul this time. Can you tell us a bit about where you are right now?
Sure. I'm now in Gyeongju, where the APEC summit is being held. So I'm in the media center, and there are a lot of journalists from all over the world. So it's kind of, a little bit excited, but also a little bit nervous.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us for Tech Latest.
My pleasure.
So our topic this week is not strictly political. It's about Samsung and AI. And it's a very big topic, which makes sense given how big and varied the company itself is. But before we get into the meat of today's episode, which will be, spoiler alert, AI memory, what are some other ways that Samsung has been trying to ride the artificial intelligence boom of the past few years?
Yes. Even before the AI memory chips, Samsung invested a lot in this technology. The company produced a lot of products. So they produce smartphones, home appliance, so many things. So they try to develop AI technology with the devices. But actually, they don't have their own AI tool. So they are in cooperation with Google's Gemini. So they apply that technology into their products.
Oh, I see.
Some examples. Samsung's Galaxy smartphones, in their latest models, they offer kind of AI functions, like you can get the phone translate foreign language when you talk with others in the phone talk. So it's kind of, there are a lot
That's
of
amazing.
it is AI functions so you can use. Or another example is refrigerator. It's not just cooling foods. Sometimes now it is briefing you the weather or your schedule in the morning. They have a nice display on the surface of the refrigerator. So it's kind of a lot of things are now adopting AI technology.
I'm getting very smart. I never thought of my refrigerator telling me about the weather. But you were recently at another product launch event for Samsung. This was their extended reality headsets?
Yes, exactly. They call it Galaxy XR. It's kind of big headset with a screen on your eyes, and then it's fun. I mean, you can watch concerts or sports games. I tried it, and it's very immersive. It offers immersive experiences, like feel like being concert or sports stadium. So it's really fun. Yeah. So and then definitely they use AI functions as well. So they recommend a restaurant. They book a nice place for you. So kind of convenient, but still it's expensive. So I'm not sure how many people will buy it. But anyway, it's kind of new innovation, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing that you could have an immersive concert-going experience. That means you'd never have to worry about sold-out concerts or not getting tickets to your favorite band.
Right.
That'd be amazing. But yeah, the price is going to be, I think, a stumbling block for a lot of people, not just Samsung's, but Meta's also has immersive headsets, and Apple's trying that as well. So, yeah. But has the AI, I know that Samsung was, I think, fairly quick with the integrating AI into its smartphones, for example. Has that really boosted sales? Have smartphone users been, yes, we love these AI smartphones more than traditional Galaxy phones?
Right. Yes, they are. In fact, that targets some specific customers like young people. They really adopted these AI-powered phones. So, in Korea, usually young people prefer iPhones. Its design is better, like its OS is nice.
Didn't know that.
But I'm not sure, but some of them, defected iPhones to Samsung's Galaxy because it offers their AI services simultaneously, so they don't need to click other, AI services that the phone itself offers and then supports the AI function. So it definitely helps sales of Samsung phone.
Yeah, I think we've seen that with, on the flip side, being Apple was much slower to really deliver on its promise of AI iPhones. I think there was actually a lot of if anger is too strong about the iPhone 16 not being as AI powered as people expected. So
Right.
that was really smart of Samsung to be so quick off the mark there.
Yes.
But end products like smartphones and headsets aren't the only thing that Samsung's focusing on in AI. They're also pouring in a lot of time and money and effort into memory chips, specifically high bandwidth memory. Can you tell us a bit about HBM, what they are, and why Samsung and other companies see them as so kind of crucial?
Oh, yes, of course. So HBM is, simply saying, is a memory chip, definitely, but it's vertically stacked with many DRAM chips. DRAM is normal memory chips, processing that memory data. Anyway, that HBM is helping GPUs process data really, really fast. And, as we know, the GPUs is key thing in AI computing. So it is very important to Samsung because the deep GPU demand is rising, and then GPU makers demand HBMs very, very much. And then actually the biggest and then the leading maker is NVIDIA. And NVIDIA makes so much money, and to make their money, they need HBMs as many as possible. So if you have nice, great HBM, it means you can get billions of dollars of order every year. So it's really, really important.
And that's kind of a turnaround because for many years, memory chips as a whole, the memory chip market, wasn't really seen as this cutting edge, sexy segment. It was kind of a bit more of a commodity chip. And then AI comes along and suddenly HBM is where you have to be. So, but for Samsung, I mean, now it's kind of getting on the bandwagon. And it's been one of the most cutting edge chip makers for years and years. But it actually struggled in the beginning with HBM, and it kind of lost some ground to its domestic rival, SK Hynix.
Oh, yes, right. That's a very interesting point. So SK Hynix, in fact, they have developed this HBM for more than a decade, so that they have leadership in these technologies.
So well before the AI boom kicked off, they were focusing on HBM.
Exactly. However, Samsung lagged behind because, in fact, the initially HBM market was very small because it was mostly for the video gaming industry. So Samsung said, "Oh, it doesn't make much money. It is just a small part. We don't really." They said we don't have to really pay attention to it. But SK was small player, so it really need that small money. For the
It could afford to focus on this.
Exactly. And then they have a really high technology in this sector. And then boom, the demand just boomed. There's so many demands are now because of AI. So kind of Samsung lost the chance to develop this technology and lost its ground to SK.
And I guess that kind of makes sense because NVIDIA itself, long before it was the AI Titan, it was more known as a maker of GPUs for video games. Gamers love their chips. So I guess NVIDIA and SK Hynix kind of came up together to an extent. And because we've got these great chip makers in South Korea and NVIDIA needing great chips, this has been fueling a really huge boom in stock prices. Obviously not just in Korea, TSMC, other companies as well. But what does it look like from the South Korean stock market point of view?
Yes, right. So SK Hynix, in fact, has enjoyed that stock for years thanks to NVIDIA, but Samsung now also joined that boom as well. So Samsung is now actually admitted that they are now applying its HBM chips to NVIDIA. It has struggled for a long time, for more than 1.5 years, but now it got a approval from NVIDIA, so it boosted its stock. And also, the company also signed a kind of tentative deal with OpenAI, another really hot company, to supply its chips for OpenAI's Stargate project. It's built a lot of data center in the US that they definitely need HBMs for its servers as well. So they kind of catalyst help Samsung stock jump so much. So it's just almost doubled this year.
Yeah. Wow. Just 1 year. It's amazing. And it's great, too, that they're getting another company on board because I know supplying NVIDIA is fantastic and it's really good for your stock price. But in normal times, I think investors would kind of question the fact that so much of a company's revenue comes from just one customer. So,
Exactly.
So it's great that both for Samsung and SK, they've now supplying NVIDIA. They've got agreements with OpenAI. So on the business front, they seem kind of neck and neck. But in terms of technology, would you say Samsung has definitely caught up, or is there still kind of a gap in who's leading in HBM?
I don't think Samsung and SK are on the same level. I think SK still leads the race. Accelerating its development of HBM4 is the next generation model to be supplied next year. So, and another point is that the development of HBM is not just about the companies, but they have own supply chain to supply them the nice equipment to make this this chip. So there are some local suppliers which has key technology which only supplies SK Hynix. So Samsung needs to get that supply to get the equipment. So it's kind of it is kind of a time-consuming process. So Samsung is doing well, but I don't think it's easy. And some analysts say it may take time, at least 1 or 2 years, until the company catches up with the rival. So
that's quite a unusual position that for Samsung to find itself in, having been the dominant player for so long.
Right. So in fact, I had a chance to be in Samsung Union's kind of meeting, and they were really kind of upset or kind of disappointed with that change in position. So, when they joined the company, they were number 1, but now they're number 2, and their salaries are not as much as SK Hynix. So they complain a lot, pressuring the company. So it's not just from customer market investors, they're facing pressure from their own, from its own employees.
That's really, really interesting. And I can't wait to read your ongoing coverage of this and see who's going to come out on top in the next year, 2 years. Thanks so much, Jaewon. It's always great having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Katey.
That's all for this week's episode. For more of Nikkei Asia's tech coverage, visit asia.nikkei.com. You can also subscribe to our weekly Tech Asia newsletter, which will be delivered to your inbox every Thursday. Thanks again for listening, and check back with us next week for more updates on the tech trends that matter.